like 30.
Make it happen.
Let's get it, Tater. Keep it.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man.
We went over a big school of it, right where.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. They looked at my stuff and didn't care. I wonder if you caught the first fish in the tournament. 80% of the guys are still running.
Oh, yeah, right.
I saw that one.
Oh, did you see that one?
Yeah.
That's good. I didn't even feel him on there. Gotta go. Making a mess back here. I just apologize. Well, Tag.
Oh. That was cool. There were so many fish right there. Are you throwing a shad colored one?
No, it's oh yeah, baby. There you go. That's a much better one. I like that. Let's go, baby.
Oh, wow.
That's a football right there. Love it.
All right.
Yeah, I think it is shad color. I'll double check them. But catching fish all day, you can't beat that, man.
Yeah, dude, it's been like this all week. Freaking amazing. Treasure Island. On my other map chip, this is labeled Treasure Island, and this is like Culling's favorite spot.
Oh, really?
He was like, "You hitting Treasure Island tomorrow?" Crazy.
What's that?
This is like crazy. This is north wind.
Oh, yeah.
This, not making this easy.
take it. You know?
In crazy conditions like this,
I know, right?
I don't even know what's happening.
Once you get to 5, then you feel pretty good, you know?
Right?
And it only gets better from there.
Then you get to do my favorite part of fishing.
Calling out.
Calling. Down. We got a mess now. 15. Yeah.
Hey, it's a keeper.
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island hour, baby.
Yeah, little guy.
Keeper, that's a keeper.
I got one. Oh,
Go, baby.
yeah.
Work. Now it's fun.
8 o'clock.
Now it's fun. And they do love those drop shots, though.
Man, that's crazy, right?
Felt like it was tiny until it got to the boat.
Right? You didn't make the run to Clayton? Oh, do you? Yeah. Yeah. I didn't expect to see anybody taking pictures this way. Nice.
That's awesome. Good fish.
Great fish.
Look at him right in the nose.
That's weird. Action shot for you. We're just gonna make another drift.
You want some great pictures?
Yeah, man, stick around. There you go.
I like it.
So this boat must think it has to hug the channel marker or something? The fishing guys decided to smile on us when Jody was here.
That's awesome, bro.
And now he's gone, they don't care. Did we do one more drift? During practice, I was not able to catch more than 2 or 3 off of a spot.
Oh, really?
No.
You got wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
I love it.
Net?
Right where he was supposed to be.
Close. That's a close one.
That's close. Yeah, he's not very fat. I don't know.
I don't think that one's bigger, but good catch. Hey, we're catching them here.
Right? They're back. I was getting ready to reel it in to go try it, and I saw him come up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Drop it back down.
And I dropped it back down, and he had it. He didn't even let it hit the bottom.
We pull him back up there.
I'm gonna try and fizz this guy.
Good one. Baby. Gotta love that color too.
Oh yeah. He looked way bigger when I first saw him. I was like,
That's a good one though. I think that's
that's a nice one. That's gotta be 3, right?
I don't know. That one's
Good one.
Yep.
I got fish on right here. You know what?
I reeled it halfway up too.
Oh, there's the 4-pounder.
I think it was up 20 feet off the ground.
I thought that was the one I had hooked. That one followed my fish up.
Was that? Stumpy one.
He's chunky.
That might.
one is fat. I lifted up the net and was like, oh. Almost built like me.
Stout, baby. Got one? Good one?
No.
Another one? Good little spot. For you. He's a kid. I have syringes. I was watching the guy over there.
If you miss, you get them right in the heart.
You definitely have big ones. I don't know that.
Hey, what's up, guys? Do me a favor here. If you've made it this far in the video, go ahead and hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'd greatly appreciate that. But that video was the St. Lawrence River Toyota Series Day 1. Day 2, I don't really know what happened there. Driving down the lake, all of a sudden the GoPro stopped going, so didn't get any video on day 2, but it was a much better day weight-wise. I think I had a little over a pound more than I did on day 1, so kind of bummed I didn't catch any footage of that. Still didn't finish super great in the tournament, so it's kind of whatever in my mind, you know. But if you haven't watched the practice video, go ahead and go back and watch that. There was we caught some funny clips in there. I filmed, I think, two of the days of practice, maybe like a day and a half. It wasn't a whole lot, but still managed to catch a lot of fish on camera and a couple kind of weird scenarios that happened. But yeah, so I kind of want to break this video into 3 parts. I kind of want to talk about the practice real quick. I didn't really get a chance to. I want to talk about the tournament. I'm going to talk about my kind of my strategy, what I was planning on doing when I was there, and actually maybe 4 parts. So there's the last one I want to talk about is that Blue Rock triple threat jig specifically, and how I think it was an awesome addition to the arsenal up there this season. So in practice, I ended up with, I think, 4 days of practice. Me and a guy in my club, Bryce, we went up there and practiced for 4 days. It was pretty good weather most of the time. Last year when I was there is when it was pouring down rain and like 40 degrees during practice. It was absolutely miserable. I think we were up there in August last year, maybe September. But weather was beautiful. Had an awesome time. Tried to explore a little bit. Didn't really get too far away from the launch ramp. I think the furthest I practiced was maybe like 30 miles away. I tried a lot of the spots that I did really well in the previous year, and they were not vacant, but they only had small fish, 1.5 pound, 2 pounders, 2.5 at best. So it was crazy. You could hit 4 or 5 of the same looking shoals or points or something like that, and one of them would have a bigger class of fish for whatever reason. And then the other 2, 3 that you hit would either be vacant or just small ones. So kind of run around and hit as many as we could and mark the ones that were like 3-pound class fish or bigger, and just kind of hope to try and get a milk run, as I was going away from the ramp, and then get a couple spots to hit on the way back. The big thing that I focused on this year, so I have a 19-foot Ranger. It is not a speed demon by any means. The big thing I wanted to focus on is have a spot to start close to the ramp. Last year, my starting spot was in Waddington, which is probably 15 miles away from Massena. So say this is the river right here, and Massena is right here. Here's where we launched from, and this is Lake Ontario over on this way. And then there's it's 100 miles of fishable water. It's pretty known that almost all the big bags come from that kind of barrier point around Lake Ontario, the mouth, that kind of thing. But with my boat, I'm not. It'll take me 2 hours to run there, so I'm not wasting that much time. I don't know if that's kind of my own issue that I just got to work through to break through that and go out that way to potentially do better in these tournaments. But I know it's not a guarantee making that run all the way out there to be able to bring in a 25-pound bag, or I think someone brought in like a 30 or 31-pound bag one of the days. Unbelievable. But last year when I fished that tournament, my starting spot was in Massena, or we launched out of Massena. My starting spot was in Waddington, which is, like I said, 15 miles away or so, and I was getting flew by every single boat known to man. So I'm driving my 55 or 60, whatever it is, and boats flying by me. I'm in their wash. I'm hitting it was 15 miles of awfulness. I told myself I'm going to find a starting spot closer to the ramp this year. I don't even care. Just get out of my way, and then I'll make my way down the river. So I spent a day and a half or 2 days kind of fishing close to Massena. You would think with as many tournaments that they take out of Massena, all the guys bringing the big bags from the mouth, there should be a big population somewhere. And I'm sure there is, but I didn't find them. But I did find one spot. I'll show the clip right here. I did find one spot pretty close to the ramp that I caught I think it was like a 532 smallmouth, 5 something, on that new 3/8 ounce triple threat jig by Blue Rock. So I made up my mind. It was like 2 minutes from the ramp. I said, that's my starting spot. That's where we're going to go. So day one rolls by. We run to that spot, and that's kind of where I told my guy that we're starting in 60 foot, and then we're going to come up onto the top of like a 30-foot hump. And that's also when I said I think he caught the first tournament of the first bass of the tournament, because we were only a 2-minute drive, and almost everybody's going to be making 80-mile run, 60-mile run, or wherever they're going to get close to that mouth. So I bet you if he didn't catch the first one of the tournament, it was pretty darn close to being the first keeper of the tournament. So that was kind of cool. And we ended up fishing that for quite a while. I think he caught 2 or 3 out of there. I might have caught 1 or 2 out of my starting spot, and then we made our way, kind of doing the milk run, getting up to, I think the farthest I ran was under that, or kind of through that Iroquois Dam area, which is past Waddington, and going a little further, and then kind of made my way back, and ended up hitting a lot of dead zones on my way there. Luckily, one of the spots that was Bryce's favorite, my co-angler in practice, it was his favorite spot. That one definitely paid off big time. We called it Treasure Island. That spot paid off big time. We hit it on the way there for quite some time. Made our run down, hit a couple spots where he caught a big one, and I don't know if someone got there first or whatever, but we didn't catch anything. So we hit it on the way back and actually was able to make a couple good calls there too. So that place was definitely key. It was key on day 2 as well. But I had a couple other spots closer to the ramp that paid off on day 2, which I wish I would have hit on day 1, because that was in my game plan, but I ended up staying on that starting spot too long and wanted to get going to Treasure Island, so I bypassed a couple of spots there that may have ended up biting me in the butt. But that's fishing. You're kind of learning as you go. You know, you're trying to feel out your 4 days of practice and fit it all into 8 hours of a tournament day, including run time and all that stuff. So overall, it was awesome. My co-angler caught a ton of fish. It was his first time, actually both of my co-anglers, if I remember right, it was their first times fishing the St. Lawrence River, so they had an absolute ball. I don't remember how my co-anglers finished, but I think they both ended up doing better than I did. But yeah, it was definitely a good time. You could see me in a lot of the footage that I caught where my co-angler scoops my fish up and I'm trying to get the drop shot weight or the bait out of the net before I go to the live well or weigh the fish. And that's because, dude, we had so many doubles. It was unbelievable. So you'd be making a drift down and one of us hooks up, and I mean 2 or 3 out of 10 times, if one of us hooked up, the other one was in just a few minutes. So I was trying to get my drop shot weight or my bait out of the weight or out of the net, just because if he happened to double up, I think one time I had to I had my rod in this hand, the net in this hand, because it was still all tangled up. So I was trying to avoid that disaster as much as possible. But that made for a lot of fun. It made the day go by really fast. It was a blast. Didn't get the size that we were hoping for. You know, everybody hears the 5, 6, 7 pound smallmouth that are out of there, but didn't catch anything that size. I had 16 pounds the first day, 17 something the second day, so put me way back in the back of the field. But regardless, getting out of Ohio and fishing like that was amazing. I probably won't catch as many fish in a year as I did on the 4 days of practice and the 2 days of the tournament back home. So well worth the trip, well worth the money. If anybody has any desire to go up there, I recommend to definitely do so. It's pretty technical fishing, and it is definitely not a just point anywhere and go. It is pretty technical whenever you're going there on what you're doing, how you're going to do it. The technique that I was using is called back drifting. I think that's what I call it. Maybe there's a more specific or technical term for it, but a lot of the guys that won or do really well, they all have lithium batteries. They're going into the current, kind of using their live scope and picking out individual fish as they're going upriver, which the current there is anywhere from 1.5 miles to 3 miles an hour. And that might not sound a lot, but as a current coming pushing your boat backwards, that's pretty fast. I just have regular lead acid batteries in there, so if I try to do that, I'm going to run out of juice in 3 hours. So I do what's called back drifting. So basically, if the hump or the point is right here that you're trying to fish, say the current's coming this way, you're going to drive your boat past where you want and kind of set it down in front of the structure or the cover that you're wanting to hit, and you're going to try and get it to where the current brings your boat right over top of the hump or the point. You're going to point your bow into the current and kind of tap your trolling motor every little bit, because you want to try and drift with the same speed as your bait is going on the bottom, as it's bouncing on the bottom. So every once in a while you're tapping the trolling motor, trying to keep it going the same speed. You want to point the boat into the current. that's kind of the frustration that I talked about at the beginning of that video. So the current was coming this way, the wind was coming this way, and so it was pointing my boat this way, but I needed to go this way, so my line was going that way, and I had no idea what was happening. Luckily, that spot had a bunch of fish on it, and I was still able to get a couple bites to calm us down because I was getting a little frustrated. It was throwing me off so bad. I was so discombobulated. But it ended up working out. It calmed down at the end of the day, and we were able to get a pretty good amount of fish in the boat. It was kind of cool too, because in the morning, for some reason, they wanted the bottom bait. So Ned Rig, that triple threat jig was perfect for the morning. They wanted something on the bottom, and as the day progressed, they kind of got off the bottom bite and wanted more towards the drop shot. It's kind of what they seemed to lean to. My co-angler was throwing a drop shot pretty much all day, both days. So whenever he started getting more bites than me, when I was throwing that little triple threat, I knew it was time to get off of that and go back to the drop shot, because that seemed to be, for whatever reason, they started kind of feeding up as opposed to pointing down. And you just kind of transitioned into that and kept it rolling. So what is a Blue Rock triple threat jig? It's basically a skirted Ned Rig. Adds it a little bit more bulk, gets you a little bit more kind of secondary action, especially if there's any kind of current present. A couple of the skirt strands will start kind of wiggling out there and get you a little bit of secondary action, even if you're letting it sit still on the bottom. Pretty deadly little bait. He calls it the triple threat jig because it can catch spotted bass, smallmouth, or largemouth, just depending on what's present in your fishery. Going towards the St. Lawrence River specifically, that is deadly on a smallmouth. For whatever reason, that kind of finesse jig, that small little jig, is known to be a pretty killer bait up there. So I had asked for a little while now, and I think he'd been asked by a couple other people as well, to try and get a little bit heavier version of that triple threat. So I was able to kind of take some prototypes of the 3/8 ounce up there to the St. Lawrence River during practice and for the tournament. And if you're planning on doing any kind of river fishing for smallmouth, definitely got to grab a handful of those before you go up there. I can't wait to get out on the Detroit River to try it, on St. Clair, Lake Erie, St. Clair River, so anywhere that needs a little bit more weight to get down to the bottom. I think that'll be an absolute click killer. To give you an idea how much I believe in the triple threat jig, here's my box of just those, full to the brim, absolutely stacked. So the two that I brought with me, I got a bunch of this black, which to me is counterintuitive. The water's super clear, but for some reason black is absolutely awesome. I think when they're kind of looking down against the gravel or the rocks on the bottom, it kind of looks more like like one of the gobies. I've caught a couple gobies, and they were up on the St. Lawrence River. They were a lot darker. So I think just a black Ned Rig, a black little triple threat here, I think that was kind of imitating a goby really well. But I also bought a bunch of the green pumpkin. I don't know if you can see that. Just a bunch of the plain green pumpkin. I'll show you real quick here. So the one I normally throw, I'll show you the size difference. I think this is a 3/16 ounce. And then that's the size difference between the 3/8 and the 3/16. So gives you a little more weight to get it down there, especially in that current. For whatever reason, this trip they wanted the green pumpkin a lot more. What I was doing with it, I was just tipping it with a Z-Man's TRD, and I was using a bait that had a little bit of chartreuse in it. Smallmouth are crazy. They like chartreuse. I think it was also given a little bit of contrast, given a little bit of flash whenever it would pop up out of out of the rocks if you got stuck or anything like that. And I would just thread that on there. So that's kind of the finished product there. I think it did a really good job, at least in my mind, of imitating with the yellow perch that were there. I don't know how many times I'd reel up my bait just trying to make another cast or whatever, and have just an absolute ton of perch come follow it up. So I think that is what that bait was kind of imitating pretty well, and they were absolutely clobbering it. Like I said, more times than not in the mornings, and then they kind of, for whatever reason, got drifted more towards the drop shot. But that was definitely killer bait. If I ever go back up there again, I'm gonna have a boatload of those, and in a couple other colors, and see what kind of damage I can do with them. But so yeah, that is it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Drop a comment in there. And don't forget, bass hate me.